Dating a Korean can be hard because their
Parents.
or my parents. Yeah, so we just wanted to film this video because it's something personal we are going through. I'm Korean American.
I'm South African, but ethnically Chinese and Irish.
And we've been dating for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
And the whole time, everyone, our friends, and most of our family have been incredibly supportive.
Very encouraging.
Yeah, really encouraging, but
Yeah.
that's everyone except for my dad. And yeah, it's been really hard just because a dad or any parent is someone who's really close to you, and of course their approval and blessing means the world for us as a couple, and I think for a lot of people out there. So because we've been struggling with this for almost 3 years, and it's not over yet, it's still an ongoing journey. We've learned a lot, and we just thought we would share some of that because we know it's not just something that Koreans go through.
In most cases, it's a question of the father, loving his daughter and not wanting to let go.
Yeah.
In some cases,
Yeah.
or just wanting the best for his daughter.
Yeah. So we just jotted down some notes on the iPhone. Well, the first thing we've learned is that it's really important to be steady in your mood and not to be volatile. I think it's really easy for your parents to attribute that emotional reaction and volatility to your relationship, even though it's your choice to get upset. It's really easy for them to say, like, this isn't the daughter or the son that I know, it must be because of the person she's dating.
Try not to react, rather respond.
Yeah. Try not to grow angry so easily, and that's something I've learned from experience and how it always makes things worse.
Yeah. And of course, try to be persistent and consistent in your attitude and in your behavior, and just in your approach to wanting to build a relationship or even start a relationship with the parent.
You want to persevere, and it's really easy to walk away and to say, I'm an adult, my parents can't control the decisions that I make, and I need to be happy. I know people who have done that, and I have no judgment. We have no judgment for people who choose to pursue other routes, because you do have to experiment and follow your own heart's convictions. But for us, it's really important that my dad, is part of our journey, and that he's in our lives as a couple, that we're a family unit for the long haul. But I don't feel like I've exhausted, or that we've exhausted all of our options, and it's hard because it means that we get hurt along the way. We put ourselves out there, especially Tim will put himself out there, and not like we're made of stone and that we don't cry about it, or that it doesn't make us angry. But
it's easy to get very emotional in these situations.
But I feel like at the end of the day, after we've had some time to cool off and we're not so emotional about it, we know that there's much more going on below the surface, that at least in our situation, it's not personal to Tim, because there just hasn't been an opportunity to dive into that relationship, and for my dad to necessarily know more about him to make such strong value judgments. So we know it can't be personal, and there must be something under the surface.
A lot of deep-rooted issues
in the parent's own life.
Sure.
And it's unfair that we're
taking the brunt of it.
We're paying the consequences of something that we actually did not cause. But there's always a flip side, which is that we hope that by being consistent and steady and persistent, that we can also be a part of the parents' healing process and seeing them restored and being free from whatever baggage it is in their lives that have caused them to react this way.
And another point is to really try and do relationship and be in relationship, in community with friends, family, a close group, a church group, or just a close group of friends that can really speak into your life, encourage you along the way, pray for you, pray with you, or even just to hang out. It's definitely not good to try and do it on your own terms or as a lone ranger, because you'll just find that your pool of resources is really limited. Perspectives are just very narrow in that sense too. We found it's been really helpful just having people to encourage us.
The difficult thing about the parent-child relationship as the child grows older and becomes an adult is that it comes to a point where we feel like we know the right answer, we're certain our parents are wrong, we're 100% confident, and we just want them to change. Tim and I have come to learn through this process that we have to let go of that control aspect because we can't control how my dad feels and the choices that he makes or does not make. We can only control the choices we make, and we're accountable for our own actions, whether they produce good or bad consequences. And so I've especially had to learn that fighting with my dad and trying to drill a point into his head that I think is so simple, and I'm explaining it so clearly, why doesn't he get it? I've learned that that's not effective because maybe at that stage in his life or in that moment, he's just not ready to hear that. He's not ready to accept it, and I'm trying to force it on him. I'm trying to enforce my timing on him, and
Right.
yeah, he's just not ready yet. And
Sometimes you just need to be patient.
yeah, that's a big thing for me, is patience.
Of course, most importantly, regardless of the storms that you're facing, if there's any turmoil or stress, is not to let all of that overshadow the joy of actually being in relationship.
Yeah, being in a relationship with a person you love.
Yeah. Don't let it steal your joy. Don't let it steal your happiness. And of course, don't let it encroach on your ability to love on the person you love.
We are Christians, and for us, our Christian community, our pastors, our Christian friends and family, of course, just the Bible has been so instrumental to encouraging us and keeping us going and giving us hope. So there were 2 verses we wanted to share that has been really good for us. Want to read the first one?
Yep. 1 Thessalonians, and it's chapter 5, verses, is it 16? Yep, and 17. Yeah. Be joyful always, pray continually. Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Jesus Christ.
And then the second one is from Philippians 4, verses 6 and 7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. So just love these verses because they show us the heart of God, which is that, yes, we are going through hardships, but God still wants to bless us. He wants us to be joyful and wants us to have peace, even though it's a time and a circumstance that can cause a lot of anxiety and stress. I think for us it's really important to see the positive aspects of what is otherwise a very challenging situation. And so I think for us it's therapeutic to talk about it, and we don't know, maybe only 5 people.
But at the end of the day, I think the most important thing is just to remain positive, to be prayerful, and to make sure that you're just trusting in the Lord, and not letting the storm overshadow the joy of being in a relationship and having someone in your life to love.
Or